My First Summer in the Sierra by John Muir. June 6. We are now on what may be called the second bench or plateau of the range, after making many small ups and downs over belts of hill waves, with, of course, corresponding changes in the vegetation. In open spots, many of the lowland compositae are still to be found, and some of the mariposa, tulips, and other conspicuous members of the lily family. But the characteristic blue oak of the foothills is left below, and its place is taken by a fine large species with deeply lobed deciduous leaves, picturesquely divided trunk, and broad, massy, finely lobed and mottled head. Here also, at a height of about 2,500 feet, we come to the edge of the great coniferous forest, made up mostly of yellow pine with just a few sugar pines. We're now in the mountains, and they are in us, kindling enthusiasm, making every nerve quiver, filling every pore and cell of us. Our flesh and bone tabernacle seems transparent as glass to the beauty about us, as if truly an inseparable part of it, thrilling with the air and trees, streams and rocks, in the waves of the sun, a part of all nature, neither old nor young, sick nor well, but immortal. Just now, I can hardly conceive of any bodily condition dependent on food or breath any more than the ground or the sky. How glorious a conversion, so complete and wholesome it is. Scarce memory enough of old bondage days left as a standpoint to view it from. In this newness of life, we seem to have been so always. Through a meadow opening in the pine woods, I see snowy peaks about the headwaters of the Merced, above Yosemite. How near they seem, and how clear their outlines on the blue air, or rather in the blue air, for they seem to be saturated with it. How consuming strong the invitation they extend. Shall I be allowed to go to them? Night and day I'll pray that I may, but it seems too good to be true. Someone worthy will go, able for the godful work. Yet, as far as I can, I must drift about these love monument mountains, glad to be a servant of servants in so holy a wilderness. Found a lovely lily in a shady adenostoma thicket near Couteville. It is white with a faint purplish tinge inside at the base of the petals, a most impressive plant, pure as a snow crystal, one of the plant saints that all must love and be made so much the purer by it every time it is seen. It puts the roughest mountaineer on his good behavior. With this plant, the whole world would seem rich, though none other existed. It is not easy to keep on with the camp cloud while such plant people are standing preaching by the wayside. During the afternoon, we passed a fine meadow bounded by stately pines, mostly the arrowy yellow pine, with here and there a noble sugar pine, its feathery arms outspread above the spires of its companion species in marked contrast. A glorious tree. Its cones 15 to 20 inches long, swinging like tassels at the end of the branches with superb ornamental effect. Saw some logs of these species at the Greeley mill. They are round and regular, as if turned in a lathe. excepting the butt cuts, which have a few buttressing projections. The fragrance of the sugary sap is delicious and scents the mill and the lumberyard. How beautiful the ground beneath this pine, thickly strewn with slender needles and grand cones, and the piles of cone scales, seed wings, and shells around the instep of each tree where the squirrels have been feasting. They get the seeds by cutting off the scales at the base in regular order, following their spiral arrangement, and the 2 seeds at the base of each scale, 100 or 2 in a cone, must make a good meal. The yellow pine cones and those of most other species and genera are held upside down on the ground by the Douglas squirrel and turn around gradually until stripped, while he sits usually with his back to a tree, probably for safety. Strange to say, he never seems to get himself smeared with gum, not even his paws or whiskers, and how cleanly and beautiful in color the cone-litter kitchen middens he makes. We are now approaching the region of clouds and cool streams. Magnificent white cumuli appeared about noon above the Yosemite region, floating fountains refreshing the glorious wilderness, sky mountains in whose pearly hills and dales the streams take their rise, blessing with cooling shadows and rain. No rock landscape is more varied in sculpture, none more delicately modeled than these landscapes of the sky. Domes and peaks rising, swelling, white as finest marble and firmly outlined, a most impressive manifestation of world building. Every rain cloud, however fleeting, leaves its mark, not only on trees and flowers whose pulses are quickened, and on the replenished streams and lakes, but also on the rocks are its marks engraved, whether we can see them or not. The weather is calm tonight, and our camp is only a sheep camp. We are near the North Fork of the Merced. The night wind is telling the wonders of the upper mountains, the snow fountains and gardens, forests and groves. Even their topography is in its tones, and the stars, the everlasting sky lilies, how bright they are now that we have climbed above the lowland dust. The horizon is bounded and adorned by a spiry wall of pines, every tree harmoniously related to each other. Walls of pines, every tree harmoniously related to one another. Definite symbols, defined hieroglyphics written with sunbeams. Would I could understand them? The stream flowing past the camp through the ferns and lilies and alders make sweet music to the ear, but the pines, marshaled around the edge of the sky, make a yet sweeter music to the eye. Divine beauty all. Here I could stay tethered forever with just bread and water, nor would I be lonely. Loved friends and neighbors, as love for everything increased, would seem all the nearer, however many the miles and mountains between us.